Well, I guess it's a good thing nobody's watching these WrestleMania videos, because I have absolutely nothing to say about WrestleMania 5.
You're watching So Off. This is Freddy Krueger saying hi.
It was back at Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. So watching WrestleMania 4 and 5 back to back was like they never even left. So Donald Trump's back. He's there in the front row. It's literally, you could take clips from WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5 and you wouldn't have no idea which was which, except for the fact that the matches in WrestleMania 4 were okay, whereas these are pretty mediocre. The national anthem was sung by the women's champ. I think her name was Rockin' Robin. I don't remember her, but it was awful. Worse than Mean Gene Okerlund at WrestleMania 1. Jesse the Body Ventura agreed with me because I wrote down his quote, "She better stick to wrestling." Let's just read through these matches quickly to see if we get to any that were good. It opened with King Haku versus Hercules. I wrote down bored. After that, the Twin Towers, Akeem and Big Boss Man, I do like those two, versus the Rockers. So Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania. Hold on. Mr. WrestleMania himself makes his WrestleMania debut at WrestleMania 5. So I guess from a historical perspective, that's interesting. I do love Shawn Michaels. He is Mr. WrestleMania. I didn't come up with that. I think he came up with that, actually. This was an okay match. I love the Rockers. I love the Twin Towers. This one was pretty decent. I give this one a thumbs up. Check out this one. But don't watch WrestleMania 5. Just pop into your copy of Mr. WrestleMania. You own this, right? I think Sean Mooney also made his WrestleMania debut at number 5. I could be wrong about that, but Sean Mooney was in there. Remember Sean Mooney? Ted DiBiase versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Double count out. I wrote down lame. Rougeau Brothers versus the Bushwhackers. Oh, the next we have a really great match. Mr. Perfect makes his WrestleMania debut, Kurt Hennig, versus the Blue Blazer, Owen Hart. I remember this match. I remember the Blue Blazer. And Mr. Perfect is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. He's in my top 10, possibly top 5. I recently bought the Owen Hart Blu-ray. Hold on. Owen Hart, Heart of Gold. And this match is on there. Maybe it's one of the Blu-ray extras, but I watched it and I was shocked because I remember the Blue Blazer. And it wasn't until that moment, it was just a couple months ago, that I realized that the Blue Blazer was Owen Hart. I never knew. I didn't know that. I was a kid. I didn't know that. Anyway, I love Owen Hart, one of the all-time greats. This is a really good match. Put him in a mask, give him any gimmick you want, Owen Hart is gonna shine. It's a little weird that his WrestleMania debut was as the Blue Blazer, but hey, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. You get in there any way you can. Next we have a weird promo where Mr. Fuji runs a 5K on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. It's kind of fun. Oh, then they brought out Run DMC to do a WrestleMania rap. That didn't land with me. Then we have the tag titles on the line. Demolition versus the Powers of Pain. I have no memory of this match, and I can't even read my handwriting. I think it's the Powers of Pain. It might be the Pows of Pun. I don't know. Can anybody read that? Then we had Dino Bravo versus Rugged Ronnie Garvin. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, the Brain Busters, versus Strike Force, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. This was fun. This was 4 great old school wrestlers. And I wrote down here in my notes, Martel heel turn. This is where Rick Martel turned heel and later became Rick the Model Martel. Great gimmick, great character. This one's worth watching. I like this one. I give this one the thumbs up. Oh my god, and after that we had the Piper's Pit segment, which sounds great, which is just like a show where he would interview other wrestlers. Always fun, always entertaining. Not always, apparently, because this was terrible. So they announced Roddy Piper, but the person who actually came out was Brother Love in a kilt, dressed like Roddy Piper. Does anybody remember Brother Love? So he did this weird promo where he interviewed Roddy Piper, but it was really him doing both characters. I'll give him credit. Brother Love did a really good Roddy Piper impression. but it went on so long and it was stupid. And then Morton Downey Jr. came out for some reason. And then finally Roddy Piper came out and he talked and I think he beat people up or something. It went on for like 20 minutes. It was terrible. I wrote down here in my notes, insufferable. And then they went to a trailer for the movie No Holds Barred. Does anybody remember that movie? That was not Hogan's film debut, which was probably Rocky III, but that was his first starring role. I didn't see it either. And then the next match was kind of interesting. It was Andre the Giant versus Jake the Snake Roberts with Big John Studd as the guest referee. This was pretty good. This was fun. Really weird to see it. Such conflicting wrestling styles. Next up was Greg the Hammer Valentine and Honky Tonk Man versus the Hart Foundation. I thought this would be great. It was just okay. I wrote down in my notes, solid, not great. Next up was the Intercontinental title. Ravishing Rick Rude versus the champion, the Ultimate Warrior. This one was decent. Wasn't great, because I don't know if the Warrior is really capable of a great match. Ravishing Rick Rude really carried him and really saved the day. He was great. He's always great. He's always fun. It was a weird matchup because Ravishing Rick Rude was a really old school heel. That arrogance that really played off of the drunk men and women who hated him. Whereas Ultimate Warrior was new school, which was aimed at kids. Certainly as a kid, I loved him. So it was just really weird, and you could see in this match how the WWF was changing and becoming more PG, as it were, and going more towards kids, which is fine. Certainly increased their popularity, but I don't know. It was a kind of a weird match, but it was okay. Then we had Bad News Brown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I wrote down, I don't care, and I don't care. Next up was probably the worst match of the night. Red Rooster versus Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think it was like 30 seconds long. It was really bad. I don't know about the build-up, why Bobby Heenan was wrestling. It was just bad. That was the semi-main event. The main event, of course, was the Mega Powers. Randy Savage, the champion, versus Hulk Hogan. I wrote down in my notes, lame, because it was lame. It wasn't a great match. As a kid, I don't remember who I rooted for, because at this point, Randy Savage was a heel again, and Hogan, of course, was the hero. WrestleMania 4, they had kind of passed the torch to Randy Savage as the new champion, as the new face of the company. But in this one, they take the torch back, and then they kind of blow it out. And all in all, just as a match, it was boring. It didn't really stand out for me. So that's WrestleMania 5. I say skip it. It gets a thumbs down for me. I really liked the Owen Hart match, and the Rockers versus the Twin Towers was pretty good, and the Jake the Snake versus Andre the Giant was kind of interesting. But other than that, it was a bunch of duds. Sorry. But check out this Bootio shirt I got. It's pretty sweet, right? Can't be too sour when you wear this thing.